Mavuika is possibly the character that has divided the community the most in the game's history. Even though she has stolen thousands, if not millions of hearts, a good chunk of the community hasn't seen her in such a good light. Powerful, stunning and honorable, reliable and always competent. It's a good thing there are no traffic lights in Teyvat, because given what we've seen, all of them could turn green when she rides by on her flame strider. The apparent perfection of the goddess of war has made many people angry, accusing her of being a Mary Sue and a shallow and bland character designed just to sell, whose perfection eclipses her humanity, because we've been facing a very clear humanity in the rest of gods, who are often carried away by it and make a good plethora of mistakes. So it seems paradoxical that the first human archon goes in the opposite direction. But is this really the case for Mavuika? What if it's actually the opposite, and this apparent excellence is justified because Natlan is the nation of war, the internal war of this character between her divine and human sides? Mavuika is constantly drifting on the edges of perfection. All her plans end up being masterfully executed. Her mere existence brings everyone closer to victory. Even the ultimate Chad is evangelized and sacrifices himself as soon as he meets her. However, such an analysis is no more than scratching the surface. Each nation and its archon represent an idea: freedom, contracts, eternity, wisdom, justice, but these are just words, which can take many different forms depending on the way they are interpreted. For example, anyone would expect the archon of wisdom to be an omnipresent entity, flaunting her erudition with a touch of arrogance and condescension. However, we found the complete opposite in Nahida. She looks like a young girl who talks with seemingly childish analogies and wordplay, and openly speaks about her trouble understanding basic things like human emotions. The goddess of wisdom turns out to be the personification of childlike curiosity, the most genuine urge to understand the world around her, which, if you think about it, could be considered the most pure form of wisdom that can exist. War, the idea that Mavuika represents, is also just a word, one that encompasses much more than those three letters: domination, ambition, and pain, but also evolution, trust, and in Mavuika's case, sacrifice. The sacrifice of her life and her humanity, her true nature and identity, under the heavy burden of fulfilling her duty. Despite Mavuika's initial characterization traits that draw her closer to the model of divine perfection, glimpses of her humanity still burn in the depths of her heart, like flames trapped under the ashes of duty. However, these displays of humanity are but brief gasps in a sea of commitment. During the game's quests, we get to see her painting a landscape of Kodapek Mountain, a scenery she describes as the only place where the fire feels calm. In this moment of vulnerability, she confesses that painting is not only a way to distract herself, but her only refuge to remember who she was before becoming an archon. However, she quickly interrupts the talk to return to her duties, as if she was afraid that showing her humanity would make her appear weak. Although from the outside she might be unblemished, the game subtly shows the problems this woman faces to maintain the balance between her human and divine sides. The war songs she teaches her people are a reminder of that duality. In the melody, both the strength of resistance and the longing for a simpler past resound. One of the things that come with becoming the Pyro Archon is to bear the ancient name Kyongozi. This would allow Mavuika to learn a vast amount of knowledge about the Descenders, the old world of the Dragon Sovereigns, and other echoes of the past accumulated over the generations by Natlan's previous leaders. However, a common mistake is to understand this as simply implanting all the memories and experiences of their predecessors perfectly and without any consequences on her mind. The forging of a an ancient name is a tenuous task, and even if the best effort is made to obtain accurate details of the person's life so that the memories and knowledge in the ancient name accurately reflect reality, they can never match the actual experiences that those people went through. In the last act, for example, we get to see Gottfried in a much more embellished and noble version than the actual person. And likewise, the memories of each Pyro Archon contained in Kyongo-Z come from the idealized perspective of people who told stories about them. Those are distorted visions, completely focused on their absolute dedication to their people and omitting the more human and earthly details. And what do you get when you take all those idealized and unrealistic memories of inexhaustible rulers, distorted and stripped of their humanity, and implant them in someone? You create the embodiment of that idealization, who struggles to fulfill the trust and love for her people, even if it comes at the cost of sacrificing her true human essence. How do we know if there's anything left of the real Mavuika, her true self, under the weight of thousands of years of her people's admiration and expectations? The game, we arrive at Natlan in turbulent times, with Mavuika exhausted by her war against the Abyss and herself, and when her mind is about to collapse after almost 500 years of keeping the sacred flame alive. It's the memory of her human sister that guides her and brings her back to her senses. It's putting her faith in 6 humans what allows her to regain her strength. It's Capitano, a human from Caenria, who ends up sacrificing himself for her. This character, so flawless and boring for some, had a reason to be portrayed that way, because it comes to show us how perfection is not the answer. True power lies in humanity, in their mistakes, in their sacrifices, and in their imperfection that becomes strength. Natlan's sun, once eclipsed by duty, finally shines again, even if its intensity is not everlasting, and from time to time, a cloud appears in the sky. Mavuika is perfect being imperfect. That's the legacy she leaves for Natlan and all of us. A legacy that explains that even though history is important, ultimately, it's humanity that writes it. The story of Genshin Impact keeps marveling me for its depth and beauty, but surely it's not always presented in the best way, with plots that get unnecessarily convoluted and a lot of distracting elements that make many people quit the game. That's why the main purpose of this channel is sharing with you this great story, synthesizing it to its very core in the most understandable and enjoyable way possible. If you want to join me in this adventure, subscribe and share the video with the fans of this universe you think may enjoy it, so we can expand this community and bring great things to the table. Also, remember to follow me on social media. I'm starting to post drawings of Genshin too, and if you're still hungry for more, take a look at my first theory of the game, now on screen. Be nice.